I think I like to look at it now as like anything. If you have a physical injury, mental injury, same thing. If you go to a doctor and your leg hurts and you don't tell them where it hurts, or you lie about your pain and then you go home, like nothing's going to change.
Right.
And so for me, I finally learned that if I tell them the truth, they might be able to know what's going on and maybe may be able to treat me better.
Yeah, and so one of the other things that you talked about that I think is really important is you talked about when you first started going to therapy, it wasn't effective because you weren't being honest with about, your symptoms. You weren't really ready to heal. And then, the difference. So can you talk about the difference? Like, what is that? What were those experiences like?
I think I like to look at it now as like anything. If you have a physical injury, mental injury, same thing. If you go to a doctor and your leg hurts and you don't tell them where it hurts, or you lie about your pain and then you go home, like nothing's going to change.
Right.
And so for me, I finally learned that if I tell them the truth, they might be able to know what's going on and maybe may be able to treat me better. And with therapy, highly recommend therapy. Anyone who is looking for therapy, has tried therapy, didn't like it, keep trying. I've had over 5 therapists and I just didn't like click with any of them until I found the last person that I've been with, and I've been with him for over 5 years and I have like the best relationship. I think that therapy, even though you literally just sit down and talk to someone for an hour, it has brought me so far. And like confidence wise, it's allowed me to go through these experiences when I was 18 and sit in the front of the camera and talk to you about it without like being emotional, because I've accepted a lot of that pain and let that go. And I truly think that, I don't know, if you're questioning therapy, if you don't have mental health issues, maybe you have issues in your home life, maybe you have some trauma from your past. I truly think that you can't move forward until you release a lot of that pain from your childhood. And so I highly recommend therapy. And then, yeah, I see a psychiatrist. I take medication and I'm very honest about what I feel comfortable putting in my body. And I talked about taking medication in high school and college that had terrible side effects. And I found something that has very minimal side effects and helps me feel like me.
Yeah. Awesome. And so what are the self-care tools that have been really beneficial to you? Like, tell me what your care looks like, because if you've been stable for as long as you have, you've seems to have figured out a system that keep you stable. So what do you do? What does that look like?
So I would say I'm very fortunate because, like I said earlier, I grew up in a 2-parent household. Grew up financially stable. And I think a lot of people who deal with mental health issues don't necessarily have that. So that I'm so fortunate to like be able to have supportive friends and family to lean on. I've learned as I struggle a little bit with a little bit of depression or mania, instead of isolating myself, it's good to be like, hey, I'm going through something. And then that allows people to understand and give me a little bit of grace. I went through a little bit of depression about 2 weeks ago. And it hit hard because like, even if you go through depression and you don't feel it for years and then you feel it, it's definitely still, it feels the same. It's not easy, it's painful, but like my mindset has changed in the fact that it's temporary. And so like when I started struggling, I called my psychiatrist. I adjusted my meds. I got a couple of therapy appointments. And what I did then is what I do when I'm stable. I try to stay on a schedule. Don't oversleep, don't undersleep. It's really important that I'm sleeping enough. I eat really healthy. I work out and be active in a healthy amount. I would say that, just having really supportive friends and family. I don't abuse drugs or alcohol. I've really gotten into journaling. One thing, a practice that my therapist got me into was like gratitude journaling. So it sounded really dumb at first, just like writing 5 things down a day that you're grateful for. And but now every day I do it, and it's just like randomly like, oh, the smell of coffee, or like hearing the birds in the morning. And it really like over practice, like doing that multiple times, I seriously go throughout my day and I'm like, oh, that's really nice, or I'm grateful for that. And it's just like I'm feeling gratitude all the time. And I think that that practice has helped me a lot.